Hi guys! Welcome back to Keyboard Kung Fu. Malamang nakita niyo na to sa mga keyboard, yung ganito, yung ginaganon, or kaya ginaganon. Tapos it makes that weird sound, yung mong, 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 gumaganon. Para saan ba yun? It's so weird, right? Pero may gamit yan. At yan yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon sa Keyboard Kung Fu. I'm Pepe Manikan. I'm a music and audio producer, film scorer, educator, performer, and an improviser. I play with my bands Eternal Now and Cinderblock, perform improvised theater with Spit and Timog, and teach at the College of St. Benil and Third World Improv. Welcome to my channel. So, saan ba natin makikita itong pitch bender? Well, most of the time, we're gonna see it here on the left side of the keyboard, sa left-hand controls. So, it comes in different types. So, sometimes it's a stick like this. Like, for example, here in the chord chrome, it goes left and right, up and down. In sa Roland, left and right and up lang, wala siyang down. Or it could also come in the form of wheels, where yung gulong siya, ginaganon siya. And sometimes, dalawa yon. There's a modulation wheel on the right side and the pitch bender wheel on the left side. So yung modulation wheel, tsaka na natin pag-uusapan yun. Ibang topic pa yun. Interesting din yun. But yun na nga, that's where you can find it. Sometimes it's on the upper left, sa taas dito sa mga ibang keyboards. And sometimes, it may also come in the form of like this ribbon. So this is a Kurzweil ribbon which you can remove from the keyboard and attach sa keyboard. And you can just do the bending by sliding your hand on the ribbon. So, marami siyang iba-ibang klaseng variety. So, ano nga ba talaga ang ginagawa ng pitch bending? Well, basically what it does is it allows you to bend the notes from one note going to the other. So, it's a modulation technique, meaning gumagalaw. Yung note, yung sound, yung tone, gumagalaw. Now, you will normally see this sa mga, for example, stringed instruments like the guitar, violin, or sa mga ibang brass and wind instruments na kaya mag-bend. Even percussions have bending. Like if you press on the skin while you're hitting the drum, you can hear the tung 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 tung. Unfortunately, for keyboard players, in traditional keyboard instruments like the piano, harpsichord, and stuff like that, wala tayong way to bend the notes because they're built that way. You can't bend it, right? So the only contact that you have with your piano is yung touch mo. You can play it strong or soft dynamics. You still have that, but there's no bending. Now you'll notice in some of these instruments that have bending, that can bend, mas masaya sometimes because when they do their solos, it can be more expressive and more personal, and it gives their playing a bit more character. May personality, malambing, nagiging mas minsan aggressive, 'di ba? And they also have kind of vibrato. So those are the things that you can do with those instruments that you can't do with your keyboard. Buti na lang, technology. So now we have synthesizers, and synthesizers have this ability to bend the notes. Kasi digital na siya eh. Samples, bending, and all that stuff. So now you can add expressive playing, more expressive playing or techniques into your arsenal because now you can mimic the way a trumpet plays or the way a guitar plays or all these other instruments play. And you can also do vibrato with it, not just bending from one note to the other, but you can also do slight vibratos or wild vibratos depending on how you do it. So, all in all, what it does is it allows you to be more expressive with your keyboard playing. Now, tingnan natin, ano nga ba yung mga basic parameters ng pitch bender? So, yung pitch bender, if you look at the bend, it can go up or it can go down. Standard settings for all kinds of keyboard is usually +2, -2. Ano tong +2, -2? +2, -2 because what's happening is yung sound is starting from a note, going 2 half steps up if you bend going up, and 2 half steps going down. So for example, I'm in D. Kapag nag-bend up ako full, like sinagad ko ng ganyan, it's gonna go dito sa E. And if I bend down, full down, it goes sa C. 2 steps. So that's your basic parameters. Now, where can you find this? Normally, you will find it inside your synthesizer, hardware or software man yan. You're going to see a settings page there where you can adjust your pitch bending by going up or down. And you can adjust it, yun nga, pwedeng yung up mo 5, yung down mo pwedeng 24. Bahala ka kung anong gusto mo. Let's talk about how to position our hand sa pitch wheel or sa pitch stick. So sa stick, you have this whole wide area right here where you can rest your palm and where you can rest your hand. And I don't know if that was really for that, pero pwede, right? In some keyboard kasi ng chord, meron silang ribbon na gano'n. So hindi mo basta-basta pwede mapatong kasi baka ma-affect yung sound. Yung iba pinapatong nila dito. And the reason for that is para mas may control sila with their hand. And for the stick, you'll notice that there's this protruding part here, and there's so many ways you can do this. I've seen people do the pinch style, you know, like they're holding it like this, they're pinching it, and that's how they, you know, that's how they bend. Other people naman do it differently. I've seen people where they rest their hand here, and then if they're gonna bend up, paakit ng ganon, they just flick this, and pag bend pababa, they use their thumb to flick this. So, gumaganyan. And ako personally, I do both. It depends on the technique I'm doing. When I'm doing certain stuff, I find myself nakaganyan and I'm just doing this or just doing this. And sometimes there are techniques where I really grab it and I manipulate it in certain ways. Depende siguro sa technique or sa effect na gusto kong gawin. I prefer this when doing basic bending because it's more efficient. Kasi if I need to bend up, I don't need to use my whole hand. I can just go like this. And if I need to bend down, I just need to go like this. And I can do it really fast, you know, to do some wild, you know, bending stuff. I find myself holding it pinch style kapag vibrato sa stick. Ganito, mas nako-control ko. Those are some ways of holding the stick. Some people do it differently. I've seen people, you know, like hold it here and do it like this, or you know, yung iba ganito, like nakaipit dito, tapos ganyan. So kanya-kanya yan. Personally, my favorite style is just this, flicking it up, flicking it down, keeping it, you know, efficient, and holding it here for vibrato. Paano naman pagka wheel yung ating ginagalaw? So kapag wheel, ang position ng kamay, ganun din, nasa left side siya minsan dito, minsan nasa taas. Kung nandito sa baba, pag-usapan muna natin. Again, you can rest your palm here para mas madali. Some people, nakagrab sila ng konti dito. Medyo ganito yung hawak nila. Nasa sideways. Ako personally, ganito ako. Tapos yung thumb ko, nandito sa groove. Kasi para may kapit. Okay? Sometimes yung feel ng wheel mas madali kasi mas feel mo, alam mo na ito, taas, baba, tapos nakikita mo visually. Pero I guess sanayan lang din yan. So, ganun. If you go up, you just push it up, you know, nagro-roll lang siya. If you go down, nagro-roll lang din siya. So, ganyan din siya. I've seen people who do it like this. Okay? Kasi minsan, pagka ganito, tapos kailangan mo mag-modulate, gagalaw, mabilis. Pero, yung iba ganito, nakita ko nakaganyan sila, tapos ito, yung kabilang daliri, dito naman sa modulation wheel. Pwede rin yun. Walang tama-mali. If it works for you, it works for you. Wala tayong magagawa. So, yung iba ganyan, nakabend ng konti para madaling i-push paakyat kasi kung naka-extend na, again, you're bending from your elbow. So, mahirap yon. So, pwede rin ganyan, nakabend para ready to push, tas ready to pull. So, ganyan yung idea. Kung nandito sa taas, yan, ganun din. Pero dito ka lang sa taas, nakataas. So, you have two options. Yung claw, which is like this, or yung thumb, which is like this. Again, principle is, you can rest your, this area here, para comfortable habang nagpe-play ka. So yun, minsan makita mo binibitaw nila ng gano'n, ginagano nila, parang yung flicking doon sa pitch bend. So sana yan lang din siya. So kailangan halapin lang yung sarili mong way or pamamaraan of doing it. Masasabi ko lang, kung masakit, may masakit sa daliri, sa kamay, sa arms, sa wrist, okay, baka mali yun kasi may injury nangyayari. Pero kung wala naman, okay lang. So yan, ganyan yung pwesto ko. Nakaganyan siya. Okay, now let's go to the actual techniques. So the first technique that you want to master is bending the note using the pitch bender. So feeling out yung maximum bend nung keyboard. And this is really tricky because different kinds of keyboards have different springs in here and they feel different. So yung iba mas resistant, some keyboards naman mas soft, so you can easily do, bending. Sa wheel naman ganun din, yung iba medyo mas smooth, yung iba naman medyo matigas, yung iba naman sobrang lambot, as in andali. It's like a shoe that you're feeling out kung paano ba dapat yung apak mo if you're running and stuff like that. It's very much like a sport. So you have to connect that physicality na okay, ganito yung pakiramdam nito. So when you're doing your bend, yun na nga, try to maximize the bend. Do the full bend first. That's the basic. So go full up or go full down. And you might think, okay, madali lang na, full up, full bend. Okay, but you also have to know when to do that kasi if you're playing the scale, for example, C major, there will be areas where mahihirapan ka kasi, let's say, nag-bend up ako. Tama. Biglang dito, parang mali. Kasi wala siya sa scale, right? Kasi yung E going to F is a half step. Alam natin na 2 steps inaakyat nitong pitch bend up, diba? So, dapat pala hindi siya ganyan. Dapat magiging half bend siya, which we will get to in a while. Learn where you should do full bends and where you shouldn't do full bends, right? But, you might think, oh, okay, dali lang yan. Ito lang yan, Okay, but there's other ways of thinking about it. You can also think of how fast the bend happens. So, for example, you can do it slow or fast. Really fast. Right? And it gives you that expression, right? So, you can bend down slow or fast or moderate. Masaya siya. So if you're gonna do your solos and you're gonna do full bends, depende kung gaano mo kabilis gagawin yung bend, it gives you that certain lambing or lande, di ba? So, very basic, but doon pa lang, by mastering that basic full bend, when to do it, how fast to do it, or how slow to do it, gives you tons of expression right away. So we just did full bends, but yun na nga, like what I said, there are parts in the scale where you can't do full bends kasi alanganin. So that's the next technique that you want to master, and this is a little bit harder. This is called the half bend. So this is knowing na one step lang yung iaakit mo. And this is really tricky because when you're doing this, you also have to train your ears and yung physicality of it sa feel sa kamay when you're bending. So whether it's a stick or it's a wheel, you have to feel, ito ba yung half? Ito ba yung half? Kasi gumagalaw yan eh. Hindi mo alam kung saan ba dyan banda yung half. So you also have to hear it properly. And for that, I'm gonna use my headphones because I can't actually hear what I'm playing right now. You have to feel the half bend in your muscles, in your control of the stick or the wheel, and the tone. So for example, alam ko, when I'm in D and I go up, that's a full bend. And to practice that, one way of doing it is you can stay on a note na natural half step. So for example, E and F. So this is E, this is F. So I have to target that with my half bend. So when I do this, I listen, and then I go to the E, sumobra. So it's really quite difficult at first. But when you get it, masaya siya. So now you can do your bend properly. So mas maayos na, right? And what this gives you is a feel na parang almost there feel. So when you're doing your solo, especially if yung scale na piniplay mo has some half steps in it, it's gonna feel cool. Like, for example, in the blues, nasa C. Ang saya ng feel na yung half bend na you're almost there. That feel, it's so much fun. I actually kind of learned this from Jordan Rudess in watching one of his videos. Before, ang dami kong mga video niya. Well, dalawa lang naman yung meron. And it's so fun because I never really thought of bending half before. Palagi akong full bend, full bend, full bend. And then here we go, we had this half bend, which was really amazing. So if you're going to, minor scales or blues, even sa mga weird, scales, pwede mo siyang gamitin. Sa mga Indian scales, sa lahat actually. So it gives you this almost there feel. It's really cool. It's really expressive. Sarap, di ba?